enough at last.
Obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
This lemon sucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Gnome.
What is up, Gnomies? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome Podcast, episode 86. What episode are we going to be discussing this week, Ty?
This week we have Static.
Season 2, Episode 20, original air date March 10th, 1961. This was written by Charles Beaumont and directed by Buzz Kulik, who did 9 episodes of The Twilight Zone. I think we still have a couple of his to see, so you ready for them?
Let's hear him.
King 9 Will Not Return, Trouble with Templeton, Static, 100 Yards Over the Rim, The Mind and the Matter, A Game of Pool, A Quality of Mercy, Jezebel, and On Thursday We Leave for Home.
Most of those, other than, I recognize Jezebel and On Thursday are season 4s, were the rest 2?
I think he had 2 and 3s. He had 2 3s, I believe. Quality of Mercy and Game of Pool are in season 3.
Nice.
Yeah. Favorite moment?
My favorite moment is when he has the kid help him bring the heavy radio up the stairs, and he's making like these grunting noises and going like, "Oh yeah, kid, good." and then he finally gets the radio up into his room, and the kid starts dancing, actually enjoying the music, and he's like, "Get the fuck out!"
I have that written down here. Kid dancing is my favorite. He's just having such a good... Take this quarter. Get the hell out of here, kid. But also the Rod intro. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
They
the crowd
incorporated-
intro was fine.
They incorporated him, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, all right.
We have the technology to rebuild him.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI Serling.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro, and I've been making them kind of be a little bit more meta and a little bit more funny. So let's see if tonight's entry is a hit or a miss. Submitted for your approval, a story called Static. Filmed, taped during that brief experimental period when CBS decided to save a few bucks and make the Twilight Zone look like a live daytime television. Yes, tonight's tale comes to you not in the soft, moody glow of film, but in the harsh, unforgiving clarity of videotape, a technology that made actors nervous, directors miserable, and fans nostalgic for good old-fashioned film grain. Our main character, Ed Lindsay, will find that this box doesn't just play reruns, it plays memories, a broadcast from a world long gone, where the coffee was stronger, the music sweeter, and nobody ever said the words videotape special. So tune in, turn on, and adjust your rabbit ears. You're about to get a little interference from the Twilight Zone.
That's cool. I mean, I never actually thought about the whole connection about the episodes all about longing for old-timey things, and this episode chose to do videotape, which is kind of more modern than film, and it kind of suffers because of that. So that's an interesting pull. I like that.
All right, so every week Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other, keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. I have 3 this week.
I have 4.
Go for it.
All right, my first question. What type of cigarette is advertised at the beginning?
Green?
They kept saying the word green, but that wasn't what the cigarette was called.
What was the brand?
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. More like borophyll.
That's all I could think of, too. I was like, who is advertising chlorophyll-branded cigarettes?
That sounds terrible. What month is this taking place in?
April.
Good job.
Yeah, so you can see it in on
calendar.
when he's sitting on his bed, yeah. What year is the radio made?
1932.
1935.
Damn it. What's on in 4 minutes?
Jackie Gleason. No. It's is it what's on TV in 4 minutes? Oh, it's not Gunsmoke, but it's like something very similar, like Gunfight?
Gunfire.
Gunfire. Okay. What does Mr. Lindsay tell the kid to buy with the money he gives him?
A switchblade.
Yeah.
And my final question, what is the radio station?
That was my final one. It was WPDA.
Yes.
You think PDA was intentional there? Did
Public
they call
display of affection?
it? Yeah, did they call it PDA in the 60s?
I have no idea.
Oh. I was wondering where it was kind of all about, like, him kind of reminiscing about his lost romance, if the PDA part was intentional or just coincidence.
I didn't even put it together. All right, we'll jump right into this episode. We open on a still shot of a house that's kind of weird, and then we get a sign that says rooms for rent. We see some old people. They're watching a Western. Our main character, Ed, here is playing checkers with the professor. Professor doesn't really seem to give two shits about this, so Ed pretty much like just devastates him in checkers. He jumps him. I don't really know how checkers work, so I'm kind of stumbling here.
I don't really get checkers either, but yeah, essentially, it's to show that even the professor, who's supposed to be playing this game with Ed, he can't even pay attention to it because everyone's just sucked right to the boob tube.
Yep. And we get a bunch of targeted ads, and Ed is not very happy with this. He's like, oh, look at this. It's fucking stupid.
He gets up and tells everyone that they're hypnotized, and then he goes to the TV, and they're like, well, if you don't like it, you can change the channel. And then he's just flipping through all the different channels, just saying, like, there's absolutely nothing on. It's all nonsense.
Yep. Finally lands back on the cigarette commercial that he began with, so he's just like, he seems to really hate modern television, which, I mean, I still like television a lot, but ads are ridiculous. A little side tangent here, like, I listen to a lot of podcasts at work, and every fucking 10 minutes there's like 3 minutes of ads, and it's getting ridiculous.
But I think for Ed, it's not just advertisements.
Yes.
They were even watching like a full show, and he was getting upset about it. It was because like everyone just stopped talking to each other. They're all focused on the TV there, and he just sort of stuck in his ways, like likes the older things, and he's just naturally not a fan of the television.
So then he goes downstairs into the basement, and he gets his old radio out, and some kid sees him through the basement window, which is an odd, like, the kid...
Odd way to introduce the character?
No, I'm saying, like, the physics of it.
How did the kid notice him downstairs when the window's way down here? He would have had to, like, bend over, you mean?
The kid is, like, head level with the window. So is this like a half basement? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it could have been like a half basement.
It's weird.
Yeah. But did you notice, too, before he reveals that it's a radio, he first picks up a photograph that's sitting on top of the radio.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, so the radio's covered with a white blanket and then a photograph sitting on top of it. He picks up the photograph first, and it's kind of the first little clue that there was like this whole lost love sort of story to this.
Was it a picture of the couple?
Yep, it was a picture of Ed with Miss Brown. Vinny. And he kind of looks at it for a second before putting it down and then taking it off.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it the second. I noticed it the second time.
I noticed it the second time. I didn't notice it the first time, but rewatching it, I kind of caught that. It's like, oh, that's a smart little like foreshadowing.
Nice. The little kid's like, what's that? What are you, fucking stupid? It's a radio. A kid would still know what the radio is.
I thought that was funny too, because it's like, it's the 60s. This kid's definitely seen a radio before. And then the kid's excuse was, well, I've never seen one like that before. Right.
No one ever saw one quite like that, because that's a very special sort of radio. In its days, circa 1935, its type was one of the most elegant consoles on the market. Now, with its fabric-covered speakers, its peculiar yellow dial, its serrated knobs, it looks quaint and a little strange. Mr. Ed Lindsay is going to find out how strange very soon, when he tunes into the Twilight Zone.
Do you notice even the audio sounds different in the videotape episodes?
Yeah, it does. Must be just a way of how they had to make it.
Right. Apparently, they did it all like kind of on sound stages for the videotape episodes, which apparently they didn't do for like other ones. There was something about it, like the last one we did, the lateness of the hour. It was kind of awkward because the camera could only do
side to side. Yeah. It kind of also does that motion where you can tell it's a fake house because you're like moving through the wall when it pans from one room to the other.
Yep. Next shot, Ed's bringing the radio inside with the boy, which is kind of our favorite moment here. The professor and Vinny, we later find out is his ex. They're watching.
And then she's kind of looking at the radio and she goes, oh, I remember this thing. I'm surprised you still kept it. And then he kind of puts a remark that he says, I don't know if it's supposed to be backhanded.
It definitely is supposed to be backhanded.
But I don't get rid of things that are useful or to that effect, which
pretty much telling her that she wasn't because he threw her away.
Yeah.
Which we don't get the first time watching, but on the rewatch.
Yeah, upon a rewatch, it's like, ooh, that was a backhanded, not compliment, just a remark. I don't know.
Right.
They're moving as they start moving the radio up the stairs too. That's where you get the funny moment of the line he says
Come
is,
on, kid.
"That's it, boy."
Yeah. He turns the radio on. The kid starts dancing. It's pretty funny. And then he pretty much pays. Hey, get the fuck out of here, kid. This is weird. Go buy yourself a switchblade. Ed turns the knob, giggity, and hears some static and whistling. And then he hits it. And then he hears for the first time, "I'm Getting Sentimental Over You," an old song from his youth.
By Tommy Dorsey. Which apparently, I looked it up, Tommy Dorsey is a real person.
That static and hissing sound happens again, and he gets another program, but a knock on the door occurs, and it seems to kind of stop the broadcast. So, like, obviously, you could kind of assume, like,
this is in his mind.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, do you think it is in his mind?
I still
think it's the Twilight Zone.
No, I think this is all in his mind, but I guess we can get to that later. But
it's Vinny at the door, and she's just like, "Dinner's ready," and Ed's like, "Women have been telling me what to do my whole life."
she's such unnecessarily being an asshole to her. Like, she's just trying to be neighborly and, yeah.
Right. But we obviously get that there's some tension between them two, which I think is kind of what they're trying to set up. Next shot, they're all eating dinner. They weren't very clear in the dialogue until a little bit later, but you're like, is this an old folks' house? Because Mr. Briggs makes no sense. Like, this guy's like fucking 20 years younger than him.
Yeah, it's a boarding house,
And then-
which we find out later.
But it was also funny because they were like, I've been here for like 20 years. Like, you lived in an old folks' home since you were 40?
So I've been rewatching Hey Arnold recently, so the minute that I saw like the kind of layout that there was like younger people too with
And
Mr.
the payphone
Bragg
in the hallway.
I was like, oh, okay, of course this must be like a boarding house.
Yeah, they're all eating dinner, and Ed is humming, and apparently that's not okay. And the professor's like, what was that you were humming anyway? He's like, I'm getting sentimental over you. They were playing it direct, and I'll play some of this because Mr. Bragg's like, Dorsey's been dead, you fucking idiot.
can't be listening to it directly.
Tommy Dorsey's dead.
You don't say.
Yeah, he died a few years ago.
What about Major Bowes?
Who?
Major Bowes.
Never heard of him.
No, you wouldn't. Well, he's dead, too. I heard both Major Bowes and Tommy Dorsey this afternoon on the radio.
Couldn't be.
Couldn't be. Bragg, how is it that a man with such a tiny brain could have such a big mouth?
Now, wait just a minute.
Now, please, Mr. Bragg, I think what Mr. Lindsay means, or what he's trying to say, is that a local radio station was broadcasting recordings of some of the old programs.
The professor's actually a really good friend.
He is a good friend. At some point, though, I feel like he should have been more concerned for Ed's health, because it does seem, from at least everyone else on the outside, that he is
It's not
kind of
hurting
getting...
anybody, though. Even if it is all in his mind, like, leave the fucking guy alone.
Yeah, but if it's early signs of dementia to come, you might want to, like...
Get rid of this thing? Then getting rid of it was kind of bullshit.
Getting rid of it was, I don't know. You don't want to also, like, feed into his delusions. I don't know.
How do you know they're not? That's
how do you know they're
you're
not
gaslighting someone into thinking they're crazy? What if he actually is this, like the Twilight Zone's manifesting this, and he actually is hearing this?
I think this was all in his mind.
I don't believe so. Then it wouldn't be an episode of the Twilight Zone.
There's been a couple episodes where it's been about all in your mind.
I don't know. Anyway, Ed's just like, they used to have good music and good plays back then. Mr. Bragg does not think so. He thinks modern television's a little bit better. And Ed's just like, you need to listen to the radio. Check this out. Where's that portable one? And then he leaves to go grab it. And this is when we learn they used to be lovers, because who's the lady, like the boarding house?
Oh, the boarding house owner?
Manager or whatever. She's just like, it's a good thing you didn't marry that man.
Yeah, a little dropping of some information in there for us.
Ed tries to find the channel, but of course no dice, and everyone but the professor and Vinny leave. And he's like, come up to my room. I'll show you guys. Next shot, they're in the room. And of course, he can't get it to work. Professor's like, maybe they're having transmission problems. He's trying to help out Ed quite a bit here. He's like, let's call the radio station. We'll use the phone.
Hello, operator. And
the radio station.
He's on the phone for a little bit, and then when he gets off, he turns to the professor and sort of tells him, like, oh, they said this radio station's been closed for 13 years.
Well, what'd she say?
Oh, the operator said, according to her supervisor, that WPDA had been out of business for 13 years.
Well, maybe you had some other state or even another country. This thing has short wave, doesn't it?
But the announcer said Cedarburg. Maybe it's...
It isn't listed in the radio set.
I heard it. I know I did.
You kind of start to feel bad for Ed.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it could just be coincidence. There's no reason to, like, really have concern. It is kind of suspicious that they say the radio station's been closed for 13 years and it's not on the air, but it's like, oh, at least the professor even kind of hints towards, well, there's other explanations. He doesn't completely rule out Ed, and he's kind of on his side to some degree.
Right. Could we take a second? And the acting in this is very good. Like, sometimes if the acting's bad, it doesn't bring you in. You're like, I know I'm watching a TV show, but you kind of forget you're watching a TV show with these guys. They're all very, very good actors.
Oh, definitely agree with that. So his friends kind of leave the room, and they kind of look at each other. They're obviously a little concerned about, like, they think Ed might start to be losing it. But after this, we see that Ed actually gets the station to start working again, and he's hearing, like, an old FDR fireside chat. So we know he's still able to tune into the 1930s somehow.
Yep. And then the next shot, Ed comes downstairs, and the professor and Vinny are like, he's like, come here. He's like, I got it back on. Mr. Bragg's like, the only thing you're going to hear is static. I did like that a lot. That was pretty cool.
He said the name of the show inside the show.
Next shot, the professor and Vinny are back up in Ed's room. And, of course, it's just static on the radio. He's like, sorry, I lost it. Why do I seem to lose it every time someone else comes into the room? The professor kind of patronizes him a little bit. Keep trying, Ed. You're bound to hear it eventually. He leaves, but Vinny stays in the room. Ed's like, what do you want? She's like, I just thought we could talk, that's all. He's like, oh, don't get too close. I might start barking up the walls because I'm crazy. That's what you guys think, right?
And he's not wrong to think this, because obviously he kind of probably hears what other people are saying in the house, and most people probably think he's a little crazy for it. But I think his two friends, the professor and Vinny, aren't like everyone else. But I kind of like this scene right here. It gives a lot of background between Vinny and Ed, and it kind of like builds a heart to the story.
Yep. Yeah, she's just like, we've been living like hermits under the same roof for 20 years.
They moved into the boarding house back in 1940, and so right soon after they had met each other, they got engaged, and then we come to...
Apparently his mom didn't like her or something?
No, so we've come to find out that while they were engaged, that his mom was really sick, and so they kind of held off getting married because she was sick, and it kind of sort of dragged out so long that they sort of fell out of love during that time. The engagement was eventually called off, and it was one of those situations of, like, he just kept putting it off, and
I did feel bad for him, too, in this one, especially when she's like, we had our chance and we missed it. I don't know. I feel bad for lost love like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, it seems like both of them have moved on. They both acknowledge that they're no longer in love with each other, yet at the same time, they still kind of...
It'd be so weird living in the same house, like boarding house like that, too.
Yeah, but it's interesting that they both say that they're not in love, and even Ed acknowledges that he's not in love with Vinny anymore. He's sort of in love with the old idea of them and what they could have been, this kind of nebulous thing instead of the actual Vinny still in front of him.
Yeah.
I would have thought it could have been a happier ending.
It's a pretty happy ending.
No, because he's... In my opinion, this ending is he went full crazy. And
I don't think so. I think the Twilight Zone actually plays a role in this.
No, my take on this is he actually went full crazy, and he's completely imagining
he's just in
life.
An asylum right now, thinking that he's freaking in creepy aged down makeup.
Yeah, exactly. That's my take on it. I was thinking a happier ending would be in if they realize, let's give it another shot. It's never too late. Something like that would have been kind of more of a sweet ending.
But instead, Vinny has this to say to Ed.
Love what we were, what we might have become together. So just about this time every year would have been our anniversary. You start getting unhappy. You want to go back to 1940 and start all over again. Why do you think you keep hearing Getting Sentimental Over You on the radio? That was our song, Ed. And those programs. We used to listen to them together. In the dark.
I like when he closes his eyes in the dark. Obviously, he's like picturing them banging, probably.
That's exactly. We used to do it in the dark. You know what we were doing in the dark, Ed. And then after she kind of says her piece to Ed, he kind of insinuates, well, this isn't in my head. I'm not just imagining this. It's not because I'm getting sentimental over the past. And then He says, "Let me alone," which
Let
just
me alone.
why not leave me alone? I've never heard of "let me alone."
I've heard people say it in older stuff like this. But anyway, she leaves, and then he turns on the radio again, and he's listening to a comedy program. Ed gets some pillows and kind of lays on the floor like a little kid. I kind of like that. He's having a blast listening to this old program. Next shot, Ed arrives at the boarding house with groceries. He's all happy, and the professor and Vinny are there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Let's hang out and play some checkers." And he's just like, no, I got to go upstairs, play with my radio. He says, yeah, the radio programs are going to be back on, so I got to go. They obviously think that he's gone crazy and are worried about him. He says, the radio is a world that needs to be heard, to be believed, unlike that stupid idiot box you guys got there. He goes upstairs, only to find out, bum, 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 his radio's gone.
Well, I kind of thought his whole line about, like, the radio versus TV, where it's like, oh, TV gives you the image, but the real imagination in here about radio, what he's saying about TV versus how radio is better because you get to use your imagination is probably what people back in the day when radios were first invented used to say about books versus radio. Be like, oh, the real thing was getting to read a book and like imagining a world of your own versus listening to a radio where someone's voicing it all for you.
I think that's a human thing, regardless of how many centuries pass by. Every generation's gonna be like, no, we did it right.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's gone on like that since the dawn of time. But yeah, he goes upstairs. There's no radio there. And he's like, what the fuck did you do to it? And like, we sold it to a junk shop. So Ed obviously goes to the junk shop.
And he tries taking it, but the junk shop owner's like, hey, you can't take that. I took this fair and square. And then he has to pay for his own radio back.
How much did he pay for it?
$10.
You know how much that would be today?
Like $60?
$108.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's like, this better still fucking work. The next shot, he's in his room, and he gets to hear Tommy Dorsey again. He's like, oh, thank God, it works. And then
he calls Vinny to listen because he finally found Tom Dorsey's radio station, but when Vinny walks in, she looks very different.
Vinny, Tommy Dorsey from the Aragon Ballroom.
I know, dear. It's on this time every Thursday. And then there's Ed Wynn and Fred Allen and... Ed, what is the matter with you?
That's a good hairpiece that they got on him.
Oh, I thought that was real hair.
So you think that he wore a bald cap as the old man, and that's his real hair?
Yeah, I was thinking they were actually younger in both instances, and then they aged them up for most of the show for this fun reveal.
You think so?
Is what I assumed. Also,
I couldn't find any information on how
the de-aging worked.
Yeah,
or vice versa.
Yeah.
But one thing that I think proves my point that this is all in his head. Do you realize how Vinny's acting in this scene when she bounds into the room, jumping, and her just dialogue is very
David Lynchy.
Yes, very David Lynchy, like not natural at all, like something that someone only in your imagination would act like and say when she's like, yes, of course it's going to be Ed Wynn and then someone else. Like, it's just
very fever dreamy.
Yeah, it's not real, which makes me think this is all in his head and not a product of the magic of the Twilight Zone.
Happy ending.
I think Ed's out there somewhere in a padded cell.
I think it's a happy ending. And then Rod takes us out.
Around and around she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows. All Ed Lindsay knows is that he desperately wanted a second chance, and he finally got it. Through a strange and wonderful time machine called a radio in the Twilight Zone.
And that's our episode. Tyler, what did you learn?
I learned that kids in the 60s didn't know what a radio was.
Sure didn't. All right, we'll jump right into ratings. IMDb currently has us at a 6.7 out of 10. Do you think we're going to be close or no?
I don't know.
I'll go first because I typically give things a little bit lower. How about that?
All right.
I'm going to give this a 5.5. It's just slightly above forgettable. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing really bad about it. The acting is awesome in this, but the story, it just feels like recycled ground. There's other episodes of The Twilight Zone that have done this better, aka Kick the Can, but it's still a good episode. I don't know. I really can't find any faults with it, but it really is kind of just falls by the wayside for me.
I'm going to give this a 6.5. I like that it's heartwarming and sad at the same time. The ambiguous ending, depending on how you want to read it, could either be happy or sad. Clear moral about like missed opportunities and wanting to go back for second tries, and vague ending, kind of not my favorite thing, but like you said, the acting was really superb in this, so 6.5 for me.
Who What are they? Let's find out together in The Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, so this week we have Dean Yeager. He played Ed. He was in White Christmas. That was pretty much the biggest thing that he was in that I knew. He started off in film in 1929 and then moved over to TV, like so many people did in the early 50s, and continued to work through the mid-80s. He's got 133 credits to his name, but nothing that really sticks out. Obviously, he's got like some Studio Ones and stuff like that. Then we have Carmen Matthews. She played Vinny. She was in 6 episodes of Hitchcock Presents. She was in 1 episode of MASH. She was in 2 Studio Ones and lots of television from the 50s to the early 90s. Then we have Robert Emhart. He played Professor... I forget what his last name was, but he played the Professor.
I thought they just called him the Professor. I didn't think he had a last name.
I think he did. He was in 3:10 to Yuma. That was the biggest thing on his resume. He was in an episode of Starsky and Hutch, Kojak, The Brady Bunch, Gomer Pyle, Shazam! And he was also in 6 Hitchcock Presents, but not the exact same ones. That would be impressive.
When you said Vinny was in an episode of MASH, I think I do remember her character. I think it was in a later season where she she's not fully dating Colonel Potter, but like they're close friends or something like that. I think she looks very familiar.
A little bit of trivia on this. This is obviously one of 6 of the videotape episodes, and it also leaves us with only 2 more videotape episodes to do.
Yes, we have 22, and we have The Whole Truth.
Yes. This episode features a clip from The Fred Allen Show. I believe that's what the comedy thing that he's listening to when he's on there. And a fireside chat from April 28th, 1935 with FDR. And Ed Wynn is referenced in this. Did you notice that when Vinny was just like, we'd listen to Ed Wynn.
Yep, I did. That's kind of funny where he is an actor in the Twilight Zone.
It's in 2 Twilight Zone episodes.
But like, if everything in the Twilight Zone is canon, and Ed Wynn as an actor is in the Twilight Zone as well, it kind of, you know what I'm saying there? Like, it's like, there's both an actor version of him in the real world Twilight Zone. It's kind of funny. I like it when shit like that happens.
In total, this episode cost $36,286. Obviously, it's a little bit cheaper because the videotape one, but still really not worth that extra money that they saved. The cast received $311.
Wow, that's not a lot.
So it looks like, and then it doesn't say anything for the director. Just says producer and secretary. So I think there was something with the videotape episodes. It seems like all the directors pretty much got shafted. So I'm wondering if like CBS or MGM or someone was like, listen,
you're not going to get paid for this project,
but you can do whatever project you want, passion for. Who knows?
Yeah, probably some deal back like that.
What'd you say to me, Mike?
What's in the name, Mr. Benninger, really? It's a mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
So every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles to the episodes we are watching. I found it incredibly hard for this one. I only have 2.
It was easy. I came up with 7.
I came up with a lot of switcheroos, but for new names, it's very difficult.
Really? I thought this was an easy one for new names.
The debacle was almost impossible, unless I'm really stupid, but all I got was the boarding house debacle.
I did the dial debacle.
Yeah.
Dial in on a radio.
Yeah, I was trying to think of radio or broadcasting terms or something like that, but to no avail.
What was your other one? And I'll just rattle off all of mine.
Our Song.
Yeah, nice.
I like that one.
I have Radio Reveries. I have Tune Into the Past. I have Missed Opportunities.
Hey.
You're listening to the oldies. Sounds of the Past. And The Do-Over.
Pretty good. I liked your pun one.
Thank you.
Switcheroos, I have 4.
I have 6.
Right, I'll go first. Young Man's Fancy.
No, I do not have that. I have The Escape Clause.
All right. I have A Short Drink from a Certain Fountain.
Nope. I have Perchance to Dream.
I have Back There.
I don't have that one either. I have A Thing About Machines.
I got No Time Like the Past.
I have that one, yep. I have I Sing the Body Electric. And my last one is a slight change of it, but a Most Unusual Radio.
All right.
Yeah. You are now about to penetrate
The Twilight Zone. So every now and again, if Tyler or I have a worthy porno parody title name, we will do so. And Tyler has one this week, so let's see.
All right, so brace yourselves. Instead of static, we have Sacklick.
Okay. Sacklick.
All right, so surprisingly, a couple little references this week for Static. Starting us off, we have there was a show in 1991 called Erie, Indiana, and there was an episode of it called Heart on a Chain, where the main character Marshall shows Melanie a radio.
That's a really good one.
That they can only pick up radio signals from the 1930s on. Do you remember the show Erie, Indiana?
I've never seen it. I've never even heard of it.
When you said that, I was like, did you watch this show? It had the main character, just from looking at IMDb, he looked almost exactly like, so I'm pretty sure it's the same kid that was in Hocus Pocus.
I thought you were going to say the same kid from this who's doing the dance. I was like, what?
No, the main character from Hocus Pocus there, the guy, not the cat.
Thackeray Binks?
No, not the cat's Thackeray Binks, the human. I think his name Max or Max.
Oh, yeah, it is Max.
Yeah.
I'm going to my room.
And then there's also an American Dad episode called Rabbit Ears, where Stan takes in an old halogen tube, like the thick TVs before they became flat screens. He pulls one out of the trash and brings it down into the basement and gets obsessed with this old TV show. The TV can only play this one TV show, which is like this 60s jazzy show, and like the main host of this show is a very Rod Serling-esque type 60s man.
That's pretty cool.
And then the twist is that Stan gets sucked into the TV and he's like stuck as part of the show. Really cool episode if you haven't seen that one. And then also just a couple of songs that are generally about like people that wish they could go back in time and fix their like love that they lost.
If I could turn back time.
Exactly. So you're already ahead of me. We have Cher with If I Could Turn Back Time. Can you think of other ones like that?
If I could put time in a bottle.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't have that one. My other two were Back to December by Taylor Swift and We Were in Love by Toby Keith.
Yeah.
So
Remember When by Alan Jackson.
That's not really about love.
Remember When. I'm pretty sure, yes, it is about a couple growing old together.
Isn't it about 9/11?
No.
What am I thinking of?
I think that's another song. I Remember When is definitely a song about love. We were young.
Yeah, it must be. I don't know what I'm thinking of then.
The song seems very inappropriate for 9/11.
I don't know what song I'm thinking of then. Maybe it was a different Toby Keith one. I don't know.
That's not even Toby Keith. That's Alan Jackson.
I know, but I just named a Toby Keith song.
You're just thinking of the "We'll put a boot in your ass."
That one? I don't know. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Anyway, that's what I got for references.
All right. Every week, Tyler picks the episodes. He does so by showing me an AI-generated picture. I play a little game where I have to guess what it is. I have no idea. All I know is that he said last week that we're doing all 5 seasons and all 5 original format categories. And the only other little hint that he's given me is that this, spoiler alert, is going to be, so far, his lowest rating, what the fuck? This is going to be his lowest rated episode so far, which we differ quite a bit sometimes. So hopefully, maybe it's like one that I love. Is it a season 5 episode?
Do you want to? So we're back to original format and we're back to all seasons. We just did a season 2.
I think it's season 5, and it's an episode that I love and I know you hate.
Do you want to guess?
An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge.
Ready for the picture?
Yeah. Miniature.
Yes. Have you ever
That's not
seen
that
it?
Bad.
It was fucking terrible. This is the worst episode of The Twilight Zone I've ever seen.
No, that has Robert Duvall as the main character.
It is Robert Duvall, yes, but God, was this just so bad.
I mean, being season 4, it doesn't help.
Being long made it worse, but just terrible.
I could picture you falling in love with a doll at a museum.
I had no idea what the plot was. Nothing made sense.
There's a guy looks like John Wilkes Booth trying to steal the lady.
Just like this autistic man running around a museum causing mayhem.
It's not that bad. From what I remember,
maybe you're misremembering. This was really bad.
Even Robert Duvall's performance?
I'll give it a second watch, obviously, but...
I don't remember it being that bad.
Buckle up.
All right, just a little bit of housekeeping, guys. If you could please continue to like and subscribe on the YouTube page. And if you're listening on Spotify, if you could give us a 5-star review, that would mean the world to us because we are what?
We are a 5-star show.
Sure are. I've got to look into, I have no idea how the hell to get this onto Apple. They make it very difficult, but we'll figure it out.
Most people probably listen on Spotify and YouTube anyway, so.
Possibly. If you could also go over to the Facebook page, give that a like. For any other questions, you can email us at twilightgnome59@gmail.com. Do you check that frequently?
I check
I know
it
you
all
probably
the
get
time.
spammed, but
No, there's actually not much spam in there. It's usually just sitting empty. So
nice. My final question for you, Ty. Do you long for another time? Or when you're older, obviously you don't know what's going to happen between now and when you're older, but try to think of retrospectively, picture you're 70. What time in your life, be it you've really only had 20 years to really have fun?
Yeah, I mean, I just turned 30 this year, so I mean, I'm kind of looking back and being like, man, I wish I was just turning 21 again. I feel like that's the perfect age where you are old enough to do a lot of fun stuff, but you don't have as many responsibilities. I don't know. I feel like if I could go back and relive a certain point, I'd probably start at 21.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. As much as being a little kid would be cool, the limitations of which there's also comfort in that though.
Yeah, you have to go back to school and
better than fucking work.
No, I'd rather work.
Really?
I enjoy my job more than I ever enjoyed school.
Really? Wow. No, I definitely would rather be in school.
Oh, no.
Being a kid is awesome.
Yeah, I'm picking turn 21 and
definitely hard to beat. I feel like anything over 30 kind of sucks ass.
Yeah. It's all downhill from here.
I don't know. There was also, I think 30s, I wonder, listeners, if you guys are of all, I think there's probably quite an age variation between everyone that listens, I would imagine. What is your favorite decade? Because I hear a lot of people say their 40s are their favorite year.
Oh, decade of your life, not decade of history.
Because I think 30s is typically actually everyone's least favorite. Which I'm hoping, because the 30s so far kind of suck ass.
I mean, they make it seem so fun on Friends and The Big Bang Theory.
They're all in their 20s. They're supposed to be, yeah. Because remember when Joey turns 30
I've
in
never
one of the
actually
later
watched
seasons.
Friends. So
yeah, they're in their 20s.
Oh, okay. I would assume they're supposed to be in their 30s.
Because 30s are probably most people are starting to have kids, and life kind of becomes more of just the mundane. And I mean, there's obviously good parts to it. I don't want to sound like this is bullshit, but it's, I don't know. The 20s seemed pretty awesome. I saw a cool video. It was the same guy, and it was just it showed him at 30, and it showed him at 20, and he's waving to him, and he's scooting off, and he's just it's a hard thing to explain through.
Is it? I'm picturing the little scene vignette from SpongeBob where it shows the guy on his first day of work, and he's smiling, he's happy, and it shows him current day at his job.
No, there's actually two of them. He did some sort of superimpose where he could be on the camera, or he had a twin. But it's
he had a twin that was younger than him?
No, there's obviously
de-aging.
No, it's just he's wearing that backwards hat because he's in his 20s, and then the other guy's wearing a dad jacket in his 30s.
Oh, it's not that he filmed himself in his 20s and then he finished filming in his 30s and he composited the two films together. Yes, what you're saying. It is that.
No.
It's not that.
I'll try and find the fucking video.
Now I'm just picturing Steve Buscemi wearing his backwards hat saying, "What's up, my fellow teens?"
It pretty much is like that, and it's just him pretty much saying goodbye to his 20s, and the guy just a little dance. Okay. I'll fucking send you the video. Right. But until then, Ty, do you have anything to say to our dear, dear Gnomies out there?
Yeah, if you can't hear us, just keep turning those dials until you turn in to the Twilight Gnome.
It's 4 o'clock, the howling man is gone.